A lot of organizations would have an on-premises directory as well. We call it as Active Directory. And when we are talking about hybrid identities, we mean to say that the identities on premises are then synchronized to Azure Active Directory. So hybrid identities uses accounts that originate from your on-premises Active Directory, and then they will have a copy of that identity on the Azure Active Directory tenant. However, most of these attributes just flow one way. Changes that you make to Active Directory user accounts are synchronized to their copy in Azure Active Directory. But the changes that are made in the cloud, for example, creating new user accounts in the cloud, are not synchronized with your on-premises directory. There's a tool called as Azure Active Directory Connect that does the synchronization between on-premises and Azure Active Directory. Typically, this Azure Active Directory Connect runs on your premises server, possibly on one of the member servers. Usually on production environments, you will not have this installed on the domain controller. So the Azure Active Directory Connect tool will be looking at the changes that are done on Active Directory on premises, and then it will forward those changes to Azure Active Directory. The Azure Active Directory Connect is a tool that also provides you with several filters, and you can choose what accounts to synchronize, what groups to synchronize, whether you want to use a hashed version of a user password, which is also famously called as password hash synchronization. And when you implement hybrid identities, your on-premises Active Directory is the authoritative source for the account information. And this means that when you perform any kind of admin tasks, mostly on-premises, they are then synchronized to Azure Active Directory. The original and the authoritative source of your user accounts are always stored on your premises, and you manage your identities on your premises with Active Directory with tools like Active Directory Users and Computers or even PowerShell. There's a very important thing that we need to talk about, which is the authentication for hybrid identities. So depending on your business needs or possibly on your technical requirements, the hybrid identity model and the directory synchronization is the most common choice for enterprise customers who are adopting M365. However, the authentication type may change when you're using a hybrid identity model. There are two kinds of authentication models. One is managed authentication and the other one is federated authentication. Now, under managed authentication, we got password hash sync, and then there is pass-through authentication. And since these are very important to understand from the M365 authentication perspective, let's go ahead and talk about this in the subsequent videos. Thanks for watching so far.